Ever wondered how Europeans, once devout pagans, became Christians? Our journey begins in a time long before the arrival of Christianity, in the heart of pre-Christian Europe. This was a time when the continent was a thriving mosaic of diverse pagan beliefs and rituals. Let's set the stage. Europe was not a monolith but rather a collection of tribes and peoples, each with their own distinct religious practices. From the icy fjords of Scandinavia to the rolling hills of the British Isles, from the dense forests of Germany to the sun-kissed shores of the Mediterranean, the beliefs of the populace were as diverse as the landscapes they inhabited. The pantheon of gods worshipped by these ancient Europeans was as varied as the people themselves. In the Norse tradition, for instance, there was Odin, the one-eyed god of wisdom and war, and Thor, the thunder god. The Celts revered the mother goddess Danu, while the Greeks and Romans had their own pantheon of gods that included Zeus and Jupiter, the kings of the gods, and Apollo, the god of the sun. These gods were not distant abstract beings but entities that had a direct and meaningful impact on the daily lives of the people. Religious rituals were a fundamental part of life. They marked the changing seasons, the sowing and reaping of crops, the birth of children, and the passing of the dead. These rituals were often communal, involving the entire community in feasting, dancing, and sacrifices to appease the gods and ensure their favor. In short, paganism was not just a system of beliefs, it was a way of life that was deeply ingrained in the fabric of European society. It shaped their worldview, their values, their communities, and their very identities. So how did this deeply ingrained pagan culture give way to Christianity? We'll delve into that next. The story of Europe's conversion begins with the arrival of Christianity. This transformative journey started in the Eastern Mediterranean, an area steeped in the rich tapestry of ancient cultures and religions. Christianity, a relatively new faith at the time, began to weave its narrative into this complex backdrop. The early spread of Christianity into Europe was largely due to the tireless efforts of missionaries. Among the most prominent were St. Paul and St. Peter, both of whom played pivotal roles in this spiritual expansion. St. Paul, known as the Apostle to the Gentiles, dedicated his life to preaching the gospel far and wide. His missionary journeys took him across the Roman Empire, from modern-day Turkey to Greece, and eventually to Rome itself. St. Peter, on the other hand, is traditionally believed to have established the Christian community in Rome, which later evolved into the papacy. The reception of this new faith varied greatly across different regions and communities. In some areas, Christianity was met with curiosity and interest, and many people were drawn to its teachings of love, compassion, and equality. In others, it was viewed with suspicion and hostility, perceived as a threat to traditional beliefs and societal structures. Christians were often subjected to persecution, their faith tested by the harsh realities of the Roman Empire. Yet amidst these challenges, Christianity found fertile ground in Europe. It rooted itself in the hearts of believers, slowly transforming the spiritual landscape of the continent. The religion's emphasis on a personal relationship with God, its promise of salvation, and its moral code resonated with many people, leading to a steady increase in its followers. However, it's important to remember that the transition from paganism to Christianity in Europe was not a swift or straightforward process. It was a complex, centuries-long journey marked by conflicts, compromises, and cultural exchanges. The seeds of Christianity had been sown, but they would take time to grow and fully blossom. The introduction of Christianity set the stage for a monumental shift, but it wasn't an overnight change. This was just the beginning of a profound transformation that would shape the course of European history for centuries to come. One of the pivotal moments in the Christianization of Europe was the conversion of Constantine. This transformative event took place during a period of profound cultural and political change in the Roman Empire, and it would set the stage for the rapid spread of Christianity throughout Europe. Constantine the Great, as he's often known, was the Roman emperor from 306 to 337 AD. Raised in a court where Christianity was favored, his religious beliefs have been a subject of much debate among historians. However, the event that's commonly believed to have sparked his conversion was a vision he had on the eve of the Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312 AD. Legend has it that Constantine saw a cross of light in the sky with the inscription, "By this, conquer." Interpreting this as a divine sign, he ordered his soldiers to mark their shields with the Christian symbol and emerged victorious in the battle. The following year, Constantine, along with Licinius, issued the Edict of Milan. This was a monumental decree that granted religious freedom throughout the Roman Empire. No longer would Christians face persecution for their faith. Instead, they would be allowed to worship openly and build churches, providing a platform for Christianity to grow and flourish. The significance of Constantine's conversion and the Edict of Milan cannot be overstated. Christianity, once a marginalized and persecuted sect, was now granted the freedom to spread its message throughout one of the greatest empires the world had ever seen. It opened the door for the faith to reach the far corners of the empire, and eventually beyond its borders. But while Constantine's conversion was indeed a milestone, it was by no means the end of the story. Even after Christianity had won the favor of the emperor, it still faced numerous challenges. There were doctrinal disputes to settle, paganism to contend with, and vast regions of Europe yet to be evangelized. Constantine's conversion was a turning point, but the journey towards a Christian Europe was far from over. The story of how Europe became Christian is a complex, multifaceted one, and Constantine's conversion was just one important chapter in this grand narrative. As Christianity took root in Europe, the rise of monasticism played a significant role. Monasticism, at its core, is a religious way of life in which one renounces worldly pursuits to devote oneself fully to spiritual work. And in the context of European Christianity, it became a powerful force for the spread of the faith. One of the key players in this movement was the Benedictine order, founded by Saint Benedict in the 6th century. The Benedictines adhered to a rule of prayer, work, and study, a rhythm that not only shaped their lives but also had a profound impact on the broader society. Their commitment to education was particularly influential. Monasteries became centers of learning, providing education to those who had none. They taught reading and writing, along with subjects like philosophy and theology. This was a critical factor in the spread of Christianity. By educating the masses, the monastic orders were able to disseminate Christian teachings far and wide, but their influence didn't stop there. The monastic orders, with their vow of charity, became a lifeline for the poor and needy. They established hospitals and orphanages, provided food and shelter to the destitute, and generally acted as a safety net for those most vulnerable. This commitment to charity not only helped to spread Christianity, but also showed it in action, living out the teachings of Christ in a tangible way. And let's not forget the role they played in preserving classical texts. In a time when many ancient works were being lost, the monastic orders made it their mission to copy and preserve these texts. This not only saved a wealth of knowledge from oblivion, but also provided a bridge between the classical world and the Christian era. In short, through education, charity, and the preservation of classical texts, monasticism played a crucial role in the spread and solidification of Christianity in Europe. Monasticism helped to solidify Christianity's place in European society, laying the groundwork for the next major shift. The final push towards a Christian Europe came from an unlikely source: the Vikings. Yes, you heard it right. The seafaring warriors and traders, known for their long ships and ferocity in battle, the Vikings. The conversion of the Vikings and other northern European tribes marked a pivotal point in European history. The process of conversion was not overnight, but rather a gradual one that took place over several centuries, largely due to the efforts of dedicated missionaries. Among these missionaries, Saint Ansgar stands out. Known as the Apostle of the North, this courageous man ventured into Viking territories, risking his life to spread the Christian faith. His unwavering determination saw the establishment of the first Christian church in Sweden, a significant milestone in the Christianization of the Vikings. Yet, the spread of Christianity among the Vikings was not solely a religious affair. It was deeply intertwined with political motivations and advantages. You see, the Vikings were not just warriors, they were shrewd traders and politicians. They understood that aligning themselves with the powerful Christian kingdoms of Europe could open doors, allowing them easier access to lucrative trade routes and political alliances. Conversion to Christianity also brought a certain level of prestige. Viking leaders who converted were often granted titles and lands by Christian rulers, further incentivizing the acceptance of the new faith. This blend of spiritual belief and political maneuvering played a key role in the conversion of the Vikings. Moreover, with the Christian faith came new laws and societal structures that helped to unify and maintain order within the Viking territories. The Old Norse gods slowly faded into the background as crosses were erected in places once dedicated to Odin and Thor. With the conversion of the Vikings, Christianity had spread across the continent, marking the end of pagan dominance. From the Vikings in the north to the Romans in the south, Christianity had woven its way into the fabric of European society, forever altering its course. So, how did Europe become Christian? It began with a continent steeped in diverse pagan beliefs. Christianity arrived, setting off a chain of events that changed the course of history. The pivotal conversion of Constantine, the rise of monasticism, and the unexpected conversion of the Vikings each played a significant role. These interconnected threads wove together a complex tapestry of faith, power, and cultural change. From a continent of diverse pagan beliefs to a stronghold of Christianity, the transformation of Europe is a fascinating tale of faith, power, and cultural change.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.